Hello, I am going to talk you through the app I built, my Geo Diary, and it basically uses a number of APIs, but the main one it uses that I want to talk about is the Geolocation API. It also uses the Google Maps API and the IndexedDB API to store the data, but I won't be going through that. So to quickly show you how the app works, first of all I enter a diary entry. I'll say hello diary without an F. And what I'll do now is I want to track where my location is when I made this entry. So my browser is asking me if I allow to fetch my location. I'm going to allow. It's then going to pull the longitude and latitude of where I am, and it populates the map using the Google Maps API, which is a separate API to the Geolocation API. I just used it for aesthetic reasons. I now save my thoughts. It successfully entered into diary. That's stored it in the IndexedDB API. If I go to my past thoughts, you can see here the diary, hello diary entry that I just did on the 27th of March. I can actually view where I was when I made this entry. This is actually where I live here in Vancouver, and I could go back and delete it as well. So that is the app. Now I'm going to now talk through the geolocation API in more detail and look at some code. So if we go to the code here, clicking this get location runs this function here, get my location. That's the event handler for the click event of that button. So the first thing I do is I check whether the browser that I'm using, or the browser that the user is using, understands the geolocation API, has access to the geolocation API. It's part of the navigator kind of global object for the window. So I just say if navigator.geolocation run. If not, I just tell the user that their browser does not support geolocation. Now, the main method of the geolocation object that we're using here is get current position. There's also a watch position, which gives regular updates and can kind of track your user as they move, and each time they move it will fetch again their coordinates. For this one I'm just using the get current position, which is a one-shot deal. So in order to call this method, this is an asynchronous method, like most of the APIs nowadays, very synchronous. So you have a success callback, an error callback, and it's also asking for some options. So I'll talk through the options. First of all, enable high accuracy. This is important. There's different ways that your browser can use to get your latitude and longitude. One is IP address. That's not very accurate. One is cell tower triangulation, which is slightly more accurate, but depending on where you are, if you're in a place with very few cell towers, it's not going to be as accurate. Then you have wireless, which uses the location of the wireless router that you're connected to, which is accurate. And also GPS for cell phones. You've got GPS, which is extremely accurate. So the browser needs some help to decide which of these to use. Now, enable high accuracy true means that we want it to leverage, for example, GPS if it can. Obviously, this is quite high drain on batteries, so if you don't have to, then don't do enable high accuracy true, because it is high drain on the battery. Timeout is how long you want the browser to take before it errors. So if I said 5 seconds here, so if it goes to 5 seconds without actually getting the latitude and longitude, then it's going to error. I'd rather have it that than hanging for a long time. Maximum age. Each time your browser fetches your latitude and longitude, it will cache the value, and you can put a time limit in here. So I could say, another, again, 5,000 milliseconds. If it's only been 5 seconds since the last request for latitude and longitude, then just get the cached version. So that's the option. So you pass the options, error handler, success handler. The error handler here, basically there's different error, you get an error code, and I've mapped these error codes to actually human readable reasons for errors and then alert it to the user if it fails. Success handler is interesting. The success handler gets past a position object. Now this position object contains the latitude and longitude the browser fetched for you. So again, this is the callback function here that we're getting from the main getCurrentPosition method. Callback function here is past position object. You can use position object to get your latitude and longitude here. I've assigned them to variables, and then I've populated these variables into my text boxes, which you saw over here, populated into here, latitude and longitude. And then again, this isn't part of the API I want to talk about. Show map is a method from the Google Maps API, but I have just used my coordinates object, which is a sub-object of the object that was passed to success handler in the Google Maps API. So I'm over time already, so I apologize for that, but I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.